San Francisco, Baltimore has won the toss. They'll receive. Steve Young on the sideline after suffering his second concussion within the past 3 weeks. He's been knocked out of games now 4 times this year due to injury. So it will be Elvis Grbac as the starting quarterback. And the kick taken by Jermaine Lewis, who took a hard hit after returning 16 yards. Anthony Lynn on the stop. We welcome those of you who have been watching Jacksonville and Pittsburgh. Marv Albert with Sam Weish, and we are just underway here in San Francisco. There is Vinny Testaverde, who has thrown 18 touchdowns in his last 6 games. His overall quarterback rating is number 4 in the NFL. The lone deep back is Bam Morris. And this is Morris, who is making only his second start as a member of the Ravens, his 5th game overall with Baltimore. Look at the offensive line, and they have played well. It's a veteran group. Tony Jones, the huge rookie, 6'8", Jonathan Ogden, Wally Williams playing for the injured Steve Everett, Blackshear and Brown. And they're going right to the no huddle. And once again, it's Morris able to break tackles and picks up the first down. Tripped up by Kevin Mitchell, who is playing for the injured Gary Plummer. And a look at the 49er defensive unit, and they have been outstanding up front. Barker, Young, Stubblefield, and Dolman, a terrific group. Same for the linebackers, Woodall, Norton, and Mitchell. And one of the best secondaries in the NFL. Here is Testaverde throwing. Yeah, and he completes to Michael Jackson, and he will go in for the score. So the Ravens strike quickly. A 65-yard touchdown pass play. Jackson with his 10th touchdown of the season, and Sam, he beat the right corner, Marquez Pope.
Marquez Pope and Merton Hanks. Merton Hanks was over there too. Then he threw the ball right in between the two. He should take the inside release. You see him go inside. Now this kind of freezes the inside safety, Merton Hanks. Perfect throw right over the top. And now it's pure speed, and Michael Jackson can do it. This is his 10th touchdown reception of the year. And Vinny Testaverde's great year continues.
3 plays, 76 yards in 1:11. And here's Matt Stover. So here are the Ravens off to a 7-0 lead. A Baltimore team that comes in at 3-7. They lost to the Jaguars last week after blowing a big lead. Another look at Testaverde.
What you see in Jackson. Two here, Marv, is that he had plenty of time, and not only had time to throw the ball deep down the field, but he had a lot of room to see what was happening down the field. The big offensive line by the Baltimore Ravens. They're going to give him a lot of time, and then Bam Morris being very effective in the running game last week. Good chance to mix it up. We're going to see more and more of that no huddle. Vinny likes this. It gives him a little bit of extra juice out there on the field. Vinny feels like he's more in command, and I think that translates to the rest of the team that Vinny is the man running this show.
And he was telling us last night they'll be going with the no huddle with a bit of a wrinkle. 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, which is somewhat different.
Well, they have been running it with 3 wide receivers. You can run really the no huddle with any combination of players, but when you practiced it with one way, 3 wide receivers, and you go to this way, it's different for the 49ers to defend.
Matt Stover getting set to kick away to Derek Laville and Dexter Carter. And a short kick played by Carter. And he's taken down across the 25-yard line. Carter was looking for his blockers, able to return it 17 yards. Cedric Clark on the tackle, and let's take a look at the San Francisco offensive unit up front. Wallace, Brown, Sapolu, Dolman, and Barton. Harris Barton is back after missing the last 2 games with a pulled groin. Kirby and Floyd are the running backs. Terry Kirby, the one-time Miami Dolphin, the great Jerry Rice, along with the rookie Terrell Owens and Brent Jones. And Grbac throwing on first down, and Jones with the catch and a long gainer out of the 40. the strong safety on the stop, but it's good for 33 yards.
Joe's lined up on the right side. He's just going to come straight up the field and read the double zone. The ball is thrown right over the head of the linebacker, Ed Sutter, who's replacing Ray Lewis today. Pretty throw right down the middle, and that's how you get yourself going. Give him a throw like that he likes to throw right down the middle. Confidence starts to build immediately.
And a first down for the 49ers at the Ravens' 41-yard line. And again to the air, this one incomplete, intended for Rice, who was covered by Deron Jenkins. Our defensively, up front, Mike Frederick, James Jones, and Anthony Pleasant. A month ago, they switched to the 3-4 because of the many injuries suffered in the defensive unit. Sutter starting for the injured Ray Lewis, and Gilganius for Gerald Williams. Deron Jenkins is playing for Antonio Langham at left corner. Langham with a pulled hamstring, but he will play later on. And it is completed. Jerry Rice in front of the free safety Eric Turner. Turner and Jenkins providing some help.
Straight zone defense, throwing the ball early in this series right here, getting Elvis Grbac into the scheme of this thing right away, letting him take charge. But Jerry Rice is going to be able to go down there and turn in these zones all day long. Pass rush is going to be hard for the Ravens. They went at one point in this season with only one defensive lineman. They went two defensive linemen a lot last week.
49ers first down at the Baltimore 31-yard line. Off the play fake. Grbac able to complete. Terrell Owens run out by Ed Sutter. And this is a good-looking drive by San Francisco. It is a first down from the 13.
Ted Marchibroda said they were going to have to just score a lot of points to win the ball game, because this kind of offense, the waggle to the right, quarterback keeping to the right, Owens coming all the way across from left to right. This kind of an offense is going to score points against the Baltimore defense today.
First down at the 13-yard line. Ravens with a 7-0 lead on the 49ers. You can see the movement as Brent Jones was in motion. And the penalty flag is down.
Number 79 of the offense, 5 yards.
That's
still first down.
The right tackle, Harris Barton. Referee today is Jerry Austin.
Coming right up. Well, number 79 right here, our right tackle. Watch him. Just going to move a little bit. You can't even flinch. Coming off the line. Reaction by the defense. The red zone is where the 49ers have had trouble. They did not score last week against Dallas in the red zone.
And a 1st and 15. Nice play fake by Grbac, and has Jones. Gilganius able to knock him out of bounds. Well executed play by Elvis Grbac.
Same kind of a play that they hit Terrell Owens on just a moment ago. This time, the tight end is going to slam. Jones is going to block for a moment and then slide out into the flat, and they throw him the ball. Notice that quarterbacks will roll mostly to their right. Right-handed quarterbacks go mostly to the right. They just change up to the left twice already today. Grbac has gone to his right side on the rollout.
And a 2nd down and 5 at the 8-yard line. Big hole for Kirby. Terry Kirby with a rare rushing touchdown for the 49ers. He went 8 yards for the score. And then taking it out on the goalpost. For Kirby, it is his 3rd touchdown of the season.
Almost too easy, that one, Marv. Everything they did worked. The only time they had a miscue was their own fault when they moved and cost themselves 5 yards.
And now the extra point attempt by Jeff Wilkins. So the game is tied at 7. We'll be back in San Francisco in a moment. Well, the rain here in the Bay Area has let up, although the forecast does call for more later on today. The 49ers have come roaring back. 6 plays, 74 yards in 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Off the touchdown by Kirby, they have tied the game at 7. And Wilkins will kick it to the combination of Jermaine Lewis and Ray Etheridge. And once again, it is Lewis who he is walloped, coughed it up. And the 49ers have it.
Jermaine Lewis right up the middle. Now Steve Israel is going to get, I think, the big hit. No, it's not Israel. This time the hit comes from Anthony Peterson, and then Israel falls on the football. Just straight up the middle. A wedge blocking by the Baltimore team. Straight lane coverage. All that is one team out hitting another team. You know, the Baltimore Ravens knew they had to score a lot of points today, and they're not going to do it doing this.
We welcome those of you who have been watching Buffalo defeat Cincinnati. Final score 31-17. Here in San Francisco, the Ravens and the 49ers are tied at 7. The Ravens struck early, took a minute 11, 65-yard touchdown pass from Testaverde to Jackson, Michael Jackson's longest catch of the season. And the 49ers came right back off a good drive engineered by Elvis Grbac, and it was capped off by this burst, big hole up the middle for Terry Kirby.
The block right there, Ray Brown makes the pulling block. It's a standard play the 49ers have had for years on Keith Gogenius. Ball's just headed straight out, and you can see right here, look at that block. That's a square up. That's a giant hole right through the middle. Steve Young, of course, is pulling for his teammates. He wants to be in that lineup, I'll guarantee you that, but he's pulling for Elvis every moment he's on the field.
And the 49ers looking to take advantage of that fumble recovery. The completion to William Floyd. Gets inside the 20-yard line. Stopped by Mike Caldwell.
You know, this is just a token fake. What is happening out there is the defense for Baltimore is so banged up. You've got people playing out of position. You've got young players that aren't. It's a simplified defense. They're not going to be very complicated, and they're not going to be getting a lot of pressure because they're just not playing their regular positions.
A second down and 2. 49ers, 7 plays. They've passed 6 times. They've run it once. And this is Kirby again with the big hole taking advantage. It has a first down. Stopped by Mike Kroll. I mentioned, Sam, right at the start as we looked at the defensive alignment of the Ravens that they have gone from the conventional 4-3 to the 3-4. It puts Baltimore in a distinct minority, although it was the standard defense almost every team in the league in the 80s. Only 3 teams now are using the 3-4 as their basic defense this season.
And Marvin Lewis, coming from Pittsburgh, is one of the coaches that grew up with a 3-4 defense. And he's their defensive coordinator, of course.
A first down for the 49ers, a bullet thrown to Owens, and he was met immediately by Deron Jenkins. Jenkins playing the left corner, a rookie from Tennessee. He's been a strong special teams player, second-round draft pick, and he is starting for Antonio Langham, who has a pulled hamstring, but is available.
Yeah, and you're going to see corners like that are depending on linebackers to get out underneath throws. That ball wasn't even thrown down the field, though. It was thrown behind the line of scrimmage. It's like a screen in that respect, although you don't have the offensive lineman coming out. Then it's one-on-one, Deron Jenkins and Terrell Owens in the open field.
And a second down play, 2nd and 9. Here's the swing to the other side. William Floyd able to work off a tackle and gets inside the 10-yard line. The fullback, William Floyd, has made it back from knee surgery, which cost him most of last season, able to break that initial hit.
Quarterback's looking straight down the field. He's looking for something else, and this is an outlet throw. He's an alternate, maybe even the 3rd receiver. What the 49ers offense consists of is a progression system. The quarterback memorizes the number 1 receiver. If he's covered, he goes to number 2, then number 3. Floyd probably was number 3 on that particular pass.
It is a 3rd down and 6. 8 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. We're back throwing on the run. Incomplete. A lunging attempt by the tight end Brent Jones, covered by free safety Eric Turner.
Really the first time the Baltimore defense has countered what San Francisco tried to do all the way up and down the field. Part of the problem came that Baltimore scored in a 1 minute and 11 seconds on their first drive, gave the ball right back, and of course the fumble gave San Francisco the ball again. They've got to control the clock.
This is a 27-yard attempt, and again, Sam, the 49ers not able to score a touchdown in the red zone. So Wilkins has done a good job. He is now 19 of 21, but of course the 49ers would prefer putting up 6 points in the red zone.
The NFL on NBC.
You're looking at the rookie from Maryland, Jermaine Lewis, who in the previous kickoff for the Ravens took that hard hit and fumbled the ball, and we're told he suffered a mild concussion and may not return. Jermaine Lewis on the sideline, replaced by Derek Alexander for this kick. Back with Etheridge. It is taken by Etheridge. Trying to go wide. Tackle. Good coverage again by the 49ers inside the 15. And a timeout is called. We'll be back in a moment. 7:42 remaining in this first quarter. 49ers with a 10-7 lead on the Ravens. The lone deep back is Bam Morris as Baltimore begins its drive at the 15-yard line. And again, it's Morris, and he's hit back behind the line. Stopped by Dana Stubblefield. Well, the same pattern for the 49ers a moment ago. They had to settle for a field goal. They had a 3rd down and 6 right here.
Nothing down the field. Quarterback scrambles to the right, just overthrowing Brent Jones. And the troubles continue in the red zone, ranked 24th in the National Football League inside the red zone.
That's the reason Wilkins has had so many opportunities. The tight end Brian Kinchin is hit down inside the 20-yard line by Kevin Mitchell. Kevin Mitchell is starting in place of the injured Gary Plummer. Gary Plummer recovering from arthroscopic knee surgery, and there's actually a chance, it's amazing, that he might be back next week. But Mitchell is in there at the outside linebacker position. 3rd down and 6. Quick release. And Eric Green battles his way for a 1st down. The strong safety, the quiet leader of the 49ers secondary, Tim McDonald, making that stop.
And he's 215 pounds, but he's going up against 285 pounds, maybe the biggest tight end in the National Football League. And that was just strength, because he was there to stop him before he got to the 1st down mark.
Ravens, 1st down at the 27-yard line. Good protection for Testaverde, and that was nearly picked off. Michael Jackson, the intended receiver.
And I think Michael Jackson realized that he wasn't going to get to that ball. He was going to deliver the blow rather than catch one. Usually the defensive backs are delivering the blows. So watch, the ball is out in front. He doesn't see it. He braces himself. He actually throws the punch right there and hits Tyrone Drakeford, knocks him down.
2nd down and 10. Morris trying to cut inside. Bam Morris, who last week in his first start as a Raven ran for 109 yards and 26 carries, scored his first ever receiving touchdown on a 52-yard pass play. It has not been a pretty picture for Bam following the off-season arrest for marijuana and cocaine possession. Bam was telling us last night that 6 or 7 teams inquired about his services when he was dropped by the Steelers, including the 49ers, who were looking to check him out. Testaverde just throwing it away. Alexander in the area. He said that the 49ers called his agent just to inquire, as did Atlanta and New Orleans.
I think a lot of times an agent, Steve Zucker is his agent, he'll call around just to inquire, see if there's any interest, try to stir it up. And then the next call he makes, he'll say, hey, we've talked to these following teams, to try to make it think that he's in demand.
Are you saying agents would do something like that, son?
Did I say that? Were we live then? It happens occasionally.
Dexter Carter is back and receive the punt from Greg Montgomery. And fair catch handled by Carter. 49-yard punt. 49ers back to the offense. You are watching the NFL on NBC. Very quiet crowd here in San Francisco. There are a number of no-shows, as you might expect, because of the rain the past couple of days, although it is not raining at this moment. 49ers 10, Ravens 7. And 49ers start out from their 23-yard line. And Terry Kirby gets the call. Now, Terry Kirby has a unique pregame ritual. This the scene a couple hours ago. George Chung, a karate expert, working out with Kirby.
You know, a lot of teams will hire a karate expert because they work on the quickness. But Eric Green comes over and just, I think his words were, "Do you know how ridiculous this looks?" The guy's kicking at you, man.
Eric is saying, "What are you doing?" And here is Kirby able to break a tackle and brings to the 32. Looks to be just shy of a first down. Let's check in with Greg Gumbel back in New York.
All right, Marv, in Houston, the Oilers offense is clicking early. Chris Chandler to Frank Wycheck. This is a 15-yard touchdown. Chandler's second touchdown pass of the afternoon. It's a 14-0 Houston lead on the Miami Dolphins in the first quarter, Marv.
All right, thank you, Greg. Third down, about a yard. 4.5 remaining in the first quarter here. Oh, and a very quick move to cut off LaVille. Anthony Pleasant, the right defensive end, able to make the stop. And again, San Francisco stuffed for a loss, and this has happened on a number of occasions. One of the problems they have not, one of the reasons they have not been satisfied with their offense.
Well, it's just a quick move straight up the field, almost in a pass rush move. Jesse Sapolu was supposed to make the block, couldn't get there.
Here we go, Tommy.
And the punt by Tommy Thompson. This is Derek Alexander, able to bring to the 28-yard line a 56-yard punt and a 14-yard return. A reminder, next Saturday at the special time of 12:30 p.m. Eastern, the tradition of Notre Dame football returns to NBC Sports. And a fellow by the name of Lou Holtz, you remember Lou?
Absolutely.
Goes for his 100th win as head coach of Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish going up against the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. 12:30 Eastern right here on NBC. What do you make of the whole Lou Holtz scenario?
You know, sometimes in the middle, even in a good season, a coach will just get worn down and he'll start to try to make those kind of decisions. We'll talk about it in a minute.
1st and 10 at the 28-yard line, and Bam Morris picks up a couple. Do you think he's going? You think he's gone?
Well, I told you earlier, in 1988, we had my best year. We went to the Super Bowl, and late in the year, my wife and I just sat down and said, this is it. You know, we're just going so hard that even in a good year, we think we'll go ahead and make a change. Then you go ahead and you start to win again, and your mood changes, and you change your mind. I think maybe he's in one of those frames of mind where he's considering it, yes.
There is a press conference scheduled for Tuesday. It sounds like there will be an announcement of some significance. A injured 49er being checked out or screened out at this point.
You know, talking about Lou again, sometimes when you don't answer a question directly, I am definitely not going to retire. It just spawns every kind of speculation, and basically that's what he's done to this point.
And it is Dana Stubblefield, who has had a terrific season. Made the Pro Bowl the past 2 years. A guy who is constantly double teamed, so the sack numbers have declined. You know, you look at the stat sheet, only 1 sack.
Well, they've declined for him, but because they're working on him, Brian Young, who's got 8 sacks, and Roy Barker, 8 sacks on the other side of the defensive line. 16 sacks coming over there. Part of it is the teamwork that's involved in the team defense.
Well, the point is that those numbers often don't mean anything.
That's right.
And Junior Bryant now has come on, replacing Dana Stubblefield. Second-year man out of Notre Dame. 2nd down and 7 at the 31-yard line. 49ers 10, the Ravens 7. Coming up on 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Morris. And again, he is tripped up. Picked up a couple. Lee Woodall, the outside linebacker on the left, making the stop. Bam Morris in his 4th game as a Raven, and he has certainly picked it up last week, the 109 yards against the Jaguars.
And really it's 182 because he caught 73 more yards worth of offense for them last week. He's going to be a big factor.
3rd down and 4. Testaverde's pass was broken up. Chris Dolman got a piece of it. The pass intended for Eric Green. Chris Dolman, a free agent by way of Atlanta, spent 9 years with Minnesota, a 7-time Pro Bowl player.
Really, he was not into the rush much. He was more of a spy mode. He was right along the line of scrimmage and timed the release, batting it down. Almost intercepted it.
So here's Montgomery punting to Carter. Actually turning his back on that deep punt, taking inside the 5. Out across the 15. And hit down at the 18-yard line by Ed Sutter. Tremendous punt by Montgomery, 64 yards. And Carter brought it back for 11.
You know, you had the big return last week, and the rule is you never walk behind the 10-yard line. You plant your heels at the 10. If the ball goes over your head, the percentages are it's going to bounce in the end zone. You're going to get it on the 20-yard line. He went back inside the 5-yard line and got it out to the 18-yard line. Only cost him 2 yards there, but many times that can really put you in a hole.
Looked like an outfielder going back
Yep.
to flag down a long fly ball. So a 1st and 10 at the 18-yard line. Gerback able to complete it to Floyd. Fights his way across the 20-yard line. William Floyd with his 3rd reception. Sutter and Turner on the stop. It'll be a 2nd down and 5. The man on the left, familiar face in the Bay Area before the game, Roger Craig, who certainly enjoys chatting with his one-time head coach Bill Walsh.
And my former boss. I played for him and coached for him. And now, of course, he is an advisor here with the 49ers.
2nd down play, and Kirby is taken down. Bill Walsh called an administrative assistant to the coaching staff. A lot of attention to the meeting that was called by Walsh 2 weeks ago. And that certainly stirred things up. There's Bill checking things out from high above. You know, what's your take on the meeting?
Well, the meeting took place as they were breaking up. They were in a big team meeting. They were breaking into offense and defensive rooms. It was a spontaneous thing. It was done with George Seifert's consent, knowledge. The players just wanted to air a few things out, and Bill became literally the conduit to do that.
3rd down and 2. And the 1st down is picked up. Stevan Moore making the stop on Jerry Rice.
George Seifert and Bill Walsh are good friends. George Seifert worked for Bill when he was the coach. He was George was a defensive coach. This is play just a moment ago. Jerry Rice just runs across and settles down. He can stop at any point that he feels an opening. Gerback is looking for him to pop in the ball quick.
Play action. And again the completion. Terrell Owens with a pretty spin move and taken down by Mike Caldwell, and that's good for 35 yards.
They're looking for Terrell Owens to become another big-time receiver in this offense. Reminds people here as we talk to them Friday of J.J. Stokes, who's injured right now. The nice thing he does here is he doesn't give up on the play after the catch. He's right along the sideline. It would have been easy to run out of bounds, but he didn't do it. The tough part right there is the linebacker for Baltimore didn't get underneath that. The linebacker has to take that play away.
And that is the end of the 1st quarter. Here in San Francisco, 49ers with a 10-7 lead on the Ravens. On to the 2nd quarter in San Francisco. Marv Albert with Sam Weish. And San Francisco up 10-7. Baltimore scoring early on a 65-yard touchdown pass from Testaverde to Jackson, but the 49ers come right back. Here's Gerback off the play action. Touchdown! Jerry Rice on a timing pattern, doing it against the rookie Deron Jenkins, and for Rice, his 6th touchdown of the season.
Top of the screen, Jerry Rice is just going to release straight up the field. He's on the outside of Deron Jenkins. The ball is thrown back to the inside. You'd think that Jenkins had position as the ball drops back inside, but Jerry Rice just outruns him and finds the ball before Jenkins does. Gerback, when he lets that thing go, he knows he's got a chance because of the guy at the other end.
Now number 163 lifetime, which is the all-time leader. 34-yard touchdown pass play. Gerbach, 11 of 13, 162 yards, and San Francisco extends its lead.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Infiniti, #1 car line in customer satisfaction according to J.D. Power and Associates. By Paramount Pictures' Star Trek: First Contact starts Friday, November 22nd at theaters everywhere, rated PG-13. And by Microsoft Software. Where do you want to go today?
We welcome you back to the Bay Area. 17 unanswered points for the 49ers to take a 17-7 lead. Jerry Rice a moment ago with his third catch. And able to haul in that touchdown pass from Elvis Gerbach. And this is Jeff Wilkins, three-year man from Youngstown State, getting set to kick off to Etheridge and Alexander. The deep man, Ray Etheridge, on the return. He is taken down across the 30-yard line by the kicker, Jeff Wilkins. 28-yard return by Etheridge.
On the touchdown a moment ago to Jerry Rice, the safety is going to come up into the, you'll see him come up. It's just one-on-one to the outside right up here. And Jerry goes to the outside, and then the ball is thrown back inside. Just a great play coming back inside.
And with that catch, Jerry Rice has become the 49ers all-time scorer, passing by kicker Ray Wersching. 982 points lifetime and counting. A 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line. The lone deep back is Bam Morris. And Testaverde firing, intended for Derek Alexander. And he was covered by the right corner, Marquez Pope. Look at the scores from around the NFL. Houston in front of Miami. Arizona coming off the 500-plus yard game by Boomer Esiason in front of the Giants. San Diego leading your former club. These are finals. Denver wallop New England. Washington over Philadelphia. And this is Morris again, a short pickup. Buffalo had no trouble with Cincinnati. Bruce Coslett with his first defeat. And Kansas City over Chicago. Pittsburgh with an easy win over Jacksonville. Last week the Ravens were beaten by Jacksonville. A game that the Ravens led at one point 17-3. Jacksonville pulled it out in the final minute. Here's a reverse for Alexander. Has some running room and picks up the first down.
Baltimore's going to have to start doing a little bit of this. Now, they don't want to get into a panic mode where they're going down deep. On the first down a moment ago, Ted Marchibroda, I know, didn't want Vinny to throw that ball deep down the middle, but a good play. Actually, you see the flow by the defense. The only guy, Ken Norton, is the only guy that stayed home long enough to just get a hand on the reverse. Otherwise, that one was 7 points.
And a first down at midfield. Baltimore continues to go out of the no huddle, and Testaverde completes. The tight end, Eric Green, lumbers his way for a first down. Tripped up by free safety Merton Hanks.
Now they're mixing it up a little bit. The reverse, this time faking the ball to Bam Morris and rolling out to the right. We saw San Francisco throw that pass, completed twice already today.
Pick up a 16 yards and a first down at the 33. Now the crowd coming to life. Very quiet here in this first half. That was Kinchin in motion. Morris on a slant. And picked up a yard. Met by the left defensive tackle Brian Young, who was all over him.
So Bam Morris is really not getting a chance to get ahead of steam up. When you're running downhill meaning that you take one side step and then you start progressing towards the line of scrimmage, picking the hole. The offensive line is going to lock on and try to create spaces. He's not even getting to the line of scrimmage.
Second down and 9. Short set by Testaverde, and it was dropped. Pope with the immediate hit on Jackson.
Marquez Pope anticipated the throw. It's a 3-step drop by the quarterback. 5 quick steps by the wide receiver. You'll see him coming then to the middle. Pope is looking right inside. He sees the quarterback throw the ball, and peripherally he knows where the receiver is. Timed it beautifully.
3rd and 9. Testaverde is taken down. He was stripped of the ball. The play is blown dead. Kevin Mitchell blitzing from his outside linebacker position, able to get to the quarterback.
Jerry Austin, I think that quick whistle right there, or the whistle when he had Vinny in the grass, saved a fumble because he lets go of that ball before he's taken all the way down. But once the official feels like the play is over, he's not going to escape. You see him pump, coming from the backside, and the play was over before the fumble.
And the first sack of the season by Mitchell. Carter lets it carry in. They'll bring it out to the 20, a 41-yard punt by Montgomery. There is a flag down.
Now, Kevin Mitchell gets a sack on that last play. The 49ers traditionally, the backups come in and play. They replace their starters with good players and good play each Sunday.
Yes, Mitchell playing for the injured Gary Plummer.
Illegal shift on the kicking team. All the players were not set prior to the kick. That penalty is declined. First down, San Francisco.
Well, I think they wanted to decline that one just because the offense is moving so well. Get it back to the offense.
Perfect. The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call now to enjoy a hot and delicious Domino's Pizza by halftime. For hot and wow, call Domino's now.
Back in San Francisco, 12:27 to go in this first half, and apparently the 49ers have just changed their mind and did accept that last penalty, which means that the Ravens will kick again.
Either that or Jerry Austin was just kidding the first time. He told us what it was.
Now, he doesn't have the same kind of twisted sense of humor that you have, Sam.
I would have done that at least once a game.
Absolutely. Well, apparently there was a penalty also called. We're getting this from the field on the 49ers for having 12 men on the field.
Offsetting penalties. Kick it again.
So that is why Greg Montgomery is back to kick it. And next to Carter awaits at his 10-yard line. 49ers 17 and the Ravens 7. And the fair catch handled by Carter inside the 10. It's a 32-yard punt. A reminder tonight on Dateline, she went to fight starting out from their 9-yard line. On the slant, it's Terry Kirby with a burst. Terry Kirby, who spent 3 years with Miami, acquired in preseason from the Dolphins, ran well last week against the Cowboys. 12 carries and 55 yards.
Lead block right there by William Floyd. They're happy to have him back. Quite a story there. Jerry Attaway, the strength coach of the 49ers, has worked hard to get him back and open holes for Terry Kirby, who has been the answer for them as a running back.
And once again on the ground for Kirby, stopped by Mike Kroll.
The only time they have been effective, Marv, is when those defensive linemen, and that time it was a linebacker, Mike Kroll, have come up the field as if they're in a pass rush. Get penetration quick. Don't let those trap blocks and those lead guards and pulling tackles get position on the defensive line.
49ers coming at 7-3. Carolina is now 7-4. Earlier today, they beat St. Louis by the count of 20-10.
All right, where's my man Michael?
And a timeout is taken by the Ravens. When we come back, 3rd down and 3 from the 16 for San Francisco. 49ers with a 3rd down and 3 from the 16-yard line, and Kirby on a slant is shy of the first down. Brought down by Keith Gogenius. Vinny Testaverde on that last series when he was sacked by Kevin Mitchell, hurt his ribs. The word is he will be able to hang in, but he took a pretty good shot. And now Derek Alexander is back awaiting the punt from Tommy Thompson. Tommy Thompson is averaging 44 yards per punt. That's the best average by a 49er punter since back in 1965. Alexander replacing Jermaine Lewis, who earlier suffered a concussion. And a short punt. Rolling around the 45-yard line. It's a 39-yard punt and some extracurricular conversation between these two clubs.
Vinny was being attended to, as we mentioned earlier, his ribs. This was not a concussion. It seems like every time you see a quarterback walk off a little unsteady, you think of the head. But they're going to give him a break.
Well, yes, apparently a bit more serious. We were just told that he'd be back, but Eric Zeier is checking in. Here's the play where he took the shot from number 55, Kevin Mitchell.
Yes, and the ball did come loose. Jerry Austin, though, ruled that he was in the grass, killed that play before the ball did fall free.
Combination of Woodall and Mitchell. So Zeier playing for the first time this season. Gives it to Morris. And Van Morris spinning his way. Eric Zeier in his second year out of Georgia, third-round draft pick last year. And last season as a rookie was outstanding during the preseason. Then had a difficult time when he took over briefly as a starter in 4 games, went 1 up and 3 down, threw 4 touchdowns, but was picked off 9 times.
Charismatic guy, though. This is a leader on the field.
Second down and 6. Morris. Ken Norton on the stop.
I know that Ted Marchibroda doesn't like to see number 12, Vinny Testaverde, out of that lineup. He's having his best year coming into this game with 23, now has 24 touchdowns. And everything revolved around him. Zeier is a guy who doesn't have the experience, and the team was really getting to where they were relying on Vinny. And now this is a team that has been hit very, very hard with injuries.
Most of the key injuries on the defensive side of the ball. So Testaverde sitting out this series with sore ribs. Quick hit by Morris, and looked like he picked it up. Diving for the first down.
The spot's going to be a little stingy, but I think still enough for the first down.
And they are moving the yardsticks. The Baltimore Ravens at 3-7 coming in. The only game that they've been completely out of, the game against the Houston Oilers. 3 of the last 4 losses have come by a total of 11 points, but they're losses.
They're losses, but the reason they're in the games is that fellow we just saw on the sideline, Ted Marchibroda. Every player will tell you that they're playing hard for him.
And a first down at the 49er 45. Play action. Zeier throwing for the first time. And on the deflection, it was caught. Penalty flag down. Michael Jackson made the catch.
Probably going to get an interference call here. San Francisco arrived a little bit early, but they're going to take the play.
Looked like Eric Green deflected it, and Jackson was able to make the catch. If it holds up, it's a 14-yard pickup.
Yes.
Pass interference on the defense. The penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
So it does hold, and it's a catch by Jackson for 14 yards off the deflection by Green.
Hanks got there just a little bit early. Zeier rolling to his left. Really a good throw, and then off the deflection, as you mentioned, Michael Jackson is alive. You don't give up on a play. You stay alert. You make those kind of plays.
Ravens first down at the 49er 31. And flanks come flying.
They stop the play. It's the offense.
86. 5 yards. It's still first down.
That's the tight end Eric Green, number 86. Mentioned Ted Marchibroda, who has been at the helm this season. How things have changed. Last year under Bill Belichick, the emphasis was defense, and they had offensive problems. And this year, complete different personality to this team in terms of the offensive play. Play action by Zeier. And he throws for the end zone. Incomplete.
Got a flag.
Alexander covered by Drakeford. The left corner, Tyrone Drakeford, on the coverage.
And Drakeford may have been using that elbow just a little too much. No, it's going to go against the offense. They were both jostling for position. This one goes against Baltimore.
Pass interference, number 86 of the offense, 10 yards. Repeat, first down.
Eric Green is called. Now, he's away from the play. He can still be called for interference. He is virtually a pick play is what it amounts to. But he went up and challenged or hit into the safety. I think Tim McDonald, but I'm not sure of that one. But he hit into the safety. Once you do that, if you appear to be blocking ahead of the throw, it's a penalty.
And it sets it back to a 1st and 25 at the 46-yard line. Deep drop by Zaire. And was looking to set up the screen, but it did not work.
Eric Green to the left of our screen right up here. You'll see him come out. He cannot block downfield, whether he's looking for the ball or not. He can't see. He engages right there. And the official ruled that that was a block. Now, the ball really is not in the air at this point. The ball should be in the air before that's called. He was clean of that. Tough call. Everything's happening fast in there. The official felt the ball was already up.
Eric Green, the one-time Steeler, one-time Dolphin, who did not fit into the plans of Jimmy Johnson in Miami. 2nd down and 25. Zaire on the run, couldn't find anybody. And then sliding, he took a shot up high. Ken Norton Jr. making contact with Eric Zaire.
One more time the interference call. Here's Eric Green going to release up the field right into McDonald. McDonald actually kind of grabs him. Now, McDonald has a right to that position on the field, but if the official feels like that Eric Green went out of his way to deliver a blow, he can call the penalty right there. I don't think that's a penalty because the ball wasn't in the air. It needs to be in flight before they would call it.
7th play of the drive. Ernest Biner has come on for Bam Morris, so he is the lone deep back. 3rd down and 21 at the San Francisco 42, and all kinds of movement. And we'll hear the interpretation from the referee, Jerry Austin.
Before any action occurred on the line of scrimmage, the 25-second clock expired. Delay of game, 5 yards. It's still 3rd down.
Well, there you have it. We'll step out for a moment, check in with Greg Gumbel.
All right, Marvin, we'll take you to Houston, where a block punt set up this opportunity for Dan Marino. Gets all time in the world and throws an 11-yard strike to Irving Spikes with the extra point. They cut the Oiler lead in half. It's 14-7. Houston, 5 minutes to play in the first half, Marv.
All right, thank you, Greg. 3rd down, 26 for the Ravens at the 49 or 47-yard line. And Zaire able to hit over the middle. A hard hit on Floyd Turner. He got rocked.
Floyd Turner's lined up out of the backfield. It's like a 3 or 4 wide receiver set when you take a back out of it. You got to cover him like a wide receiver. And now 4th down inside the 40-yard line. You're not in that true hard red zone. He's going for it, but they don't want the 49ers to have a chance to do anything. Force the timeout, which they've done. That's what the no huddle does. It doesn't give you a lot of time to anticipate what's going to happen. San Francisco had to call timeout to make sure they didn't have too many people on the field.
What a shot by Tim McDonald a moment ago on Floyd Turner. We'll be right back. Well, we're told that Vinny Testaverde has been taken back to the Baltimore locker room. They will check him out. Bothered by sore ribs, replaced on this series by Eric Zaire. And now Greg Montgomery in to punt. This drive by the Ravens has taken almost 5 minutes, but the Ravens have gained only 18 yards due to 3 penalties. Short punt, and it is muffed, recovered by Baltimore. It's Sutter on the recovery. A 15-yard punt that was muffed by Dexter Carter. Now, Dexter Carter had a brief departure from the 49ers, spent time with the New York Jets, and had a disastrous time, fumbling on 8 occasions in a half season with the Jets, so they released him, came back to the 49ers. He had been solid, but let that one go through, and the Ravens able to get a big break. Ed Sutter with the recovery, and they maintain possession.
And whenever you see the elbows outside the frame of the body on a punt return, he's got a chance to fumble. You're supposed to get your elbows inside. Made no attempt to fair catch that one. He was going to catch that one on the run, hopefully from his standpoint, catch Baltimore asleep. Instead, he fumbles the ball back to him.
And a first down at the San Francisco 27-yard line. Van Mars back on the field, and they've done a good job at containing. Morris has not been able to get going. 12 carries, 31 yards. As you mentioned earlier, does not seem to have the acceleration that we saw a week ago. Could be the field. This is a very soft field. Ted Marchibroda was telling us last night that the Ravens are wearing longer cleats, but still it's a tough field.
It's always a soft field. They put a lot of sand on it just before the ball game because of the rain they've had here, making it even slower.
Second down and 10. And Zaire throwing and has a first down, connecting with Floyd Turner, who was hit by Merton Hanks.
This is exactly what the Ravens needed to do. Eat up the clock, which they're doing. Keep the ball going. Even though they had to punt the ball, they got it right back. The slot is going to, both receivers are going to break to the outside. The ball is thrown inside to Turner. Almost breaks that tackle going up the sideline, but I think Marquez Pope would have been there if he had.
Second catch of the game for Turner, a guy who's made it back from arthroscopic knee surgery, and a first down at the 49er 14. Zaire going incomplete again. Intended for Turner, who was covered by Drakeford.
You know, they may be going, Marv, back to the huddle, which they've done now since Vinny left the ball game, just because Eric Zaire probably didn't practice the no huddle. The team is not used to hearing him at the line of scrimmage. This is a very quiet crowd, though. He could communicate at the line of scrimmage without any problem. But when you're not used to it, it's much easier. There's a comfort zone back there in the privacy of the huddle, as you call the play.
Well, the one positive, the way the Ravens defense has played, and the fact they've been decimated by injuries, it keeps the defense off the field for a longer period of time. Second down and 10, and here are the flags.
Ball start, number 69, 5 yards. It's still second down.
That's the right guard, Jeff Blackshear, called for the offside.
Sometimes this happens when a quarterback comes in. He will try to draw the defense offside, and it backfires on you because they're used to another voice. They've been used to another voice all week long in practice. And they get down, especially into the red zone. It seems to get louder because the crowd gets into it.
Second and 15 back at the 19-yard line. Zaire stripped. He had it knocked out of his hands.
And a big offensive line of Baltimore, which has really done a good job today, just couldn't hold it long enough for a very complicated pattern to develop downfield. I think he wanted to let a lot of crossing patterns develop, maybe an out and up down the sideline. By the time he came to it, Roy Barker was right in his face.
Quick move by Barker in his 5th year out of North Carolina. He has forced 5 fumbles coming into today. Third down, 21. And Morris with the quick hit had the hole and gets inside the 15, and a flag is tossed on. Merton Hanks on the stop of Bam Morris, and the call against the Ravens.
It's a holding against the Ravens, but a really good call at that point. Anytime you start to feel that pressure coming up the field on a young quarterback or a new quarterback, get it to the counter to the pass, the draw.
Holding, number 88 of the offense, 10 yards. Repeat, third down.
That's the tight end, Brian Kinchin, who has also been lining up in the backfield, with the injury suffered by Carwell Gardner, who had been the starting fullback, but he's out with a shoulder.
Here's Brian Kitchen right here. He's not a true H-back as some teams have, or a fullback. He's a tight end, but because they've got so many injuries to their backfield, with Carwell Gardner and Randy Baldwin, all of them out, they've only got 2 running backs. He will be in the backfield, and they'll have really 2 tight ends in most of the afternoon.
5 penalties on Baltimore, all within the last 6 minutes. A third down and 21. And Morris bottled up by Young, Bryant Young, leading the charge. We come up on 3 minutes remaining in this first half. 49ers 17 and the Ravens 7. And the field goal unit checking in. Matt Stover, who was 9 of 13 for the season.
Play selection would have been different had Vinny been in that ball game. You can bet on it. Brian Young that time made a one-arm tackle.
This is a 43-yard attempt. The angle to the left. Montgomery will put it down. And Stover's kick is good. 43-yard field goal. So the 49ers now lead the Ravens 17-10 with 2:44 remaining in the first half.
The Ravens are staying in this thing. I'll tell you what, 17-10. They're gamers. This is a football team that, by all rights, with the injuries they've got playing here in San Francisco, could have been a blowout, but not now.
Well, next Sunday, NBC Sports will present more NFL action at the special time of 12 noon Eastern with the NFL on NBC. Most of you will see a battle in the AFC West. Raiders go up against the Seahawks. Some of you will see John Elway and the red-hot Denver Broncos go up against the Minnesota Vikings. And others will see divisional battles. The Chiefs hosting the Chargers, or the Jaguars will take on these Ravens. That's the NFL on NBC next Sunday starting 12 noon Eastern time. Dexter Carter and Derek LaVille are back deep awaiting the kickoff from Matt Stover. Ted Marchibroda telling us last night, looking back at preseason, Sam, he thought that the Ravens were actually closer to a record of 11-5 than, say, like 5-11, and he didn't think the offense would be this good. So now he's scratching his head. What is going on? What are all the injuries that contributed?
That's right. You look at that. He was going off the media guide at the beginning of the season. That media guide no longer applies because of it.
And again, Carter put it on the ground, but this time that's to his advantage. The kicker is back. There's a flag down as Carter races inside the 30, inside the 20. They try to cut him off from the angle. He's in for the touchdown. But let's check out the flags.
There are 3 of them on the field, so I think they saw something, and they're bringing him back.
Well, it was exciting. 93 yards, but they will bring it back. How often do you see where a kick return man will put it on the ground, as Carter just did, and that will just get everybody to freeze, and it throws the defensive team off, and that's what happened. And then he just ripped by the lone man back, the kicker, Matt Stover.
Holding number 99 of the receiving team during the run back. Half a distance to the goal. First down.
It's nothing but human nature when they let down, because I'll guarantee you they practice this. Coming right in the middle of the screen, you're going to see the drop ball. And David Benefield, number 99, right there. Look at the hole. That is a full takedown. They flags coming from everywhere. That was right in the heart, right in the back.
Nice workout, though, for Dexter.
Had he not beaten that kicker, there'd have been a lot of conversation on Monday.
But instead, they bring it back to the 8-yard line. 1st and 10 for the 49ers from their 8-yard line with 2 minutes 25 seconds remaining in the first half. 7-point lead for San Francisco. And a good first half for Elvis Grbac. This time he goes short range and has the tight end Brent Jones. Mike Kroll on the stop.
Marv, this says an awful lot from George Seifert to Elvis out there, because this is about the area that the interception took place against Dallas a week ago, and here they are in a 2-minute situation, putting the ball right up, throwing over the middle.
He was 12 of 14, 164 yards. This one was deflected and caught. Great concentration by Terry Kirby to come up with that reception and picks up the first down. It's good for 12. Stevan Moore on the tackle. We're just under 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Coming up, the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report. Greg Gumbel, Joe Gibbs, Mike Ditka, and Chris Collinsworth will have it all. Scores and highlights from around the league. Grbac throwing the long ball, and it is picked off by Antonio Langham. Antonio Langham, who did not start today because of a pulled hamstring, has come up with his first interception of the season. Antonio sat out last week with that hamstring in his 3rd year out of Alabama, and in coverage of Jerry Rice, able to come up with the intercept.
He's turning and running. His hips turned when Jerry Rice was about 6 or 7 yards down the field, so that he was sure that Jerry didn't do the same thing that he did to Deron Jenkins for the touchdown earlier in the game. That was an unusual play. It was a little token fake in a 2-minute situation and throwing the bomb, but Antonio Langham was ready.
The Ravens from their 29. Eric Alexander split wide to the right side. And Zaire's pass incomplete. Alexander looking for a call. There is a flag down as Steve Israel was involved on that coverage.
This one could go either way too, because it's the same jostling that.
Pass interference. Number 31 of the defense. First down.
Well, it's called on Israel of the 49ers.
And Derek Alexander just going inside release back to the outside, trying to get just a little bit. I tell you what, that is just a fight for the football. It's going to be called half the time. Half the time you'll never see it called. The crowd does not agree. I think 3/4 of the time they would not call it.
While the Ravens, off that pass interference, have a first down at the 49er 44-yard line. Now Michael Jackson splits wide to the left side. Eric Zaire has taken over. Vinny Testaverde forced out with a sore ribs. Here's Biner. Gets inside the 40-yard line, met by the left defensive end, Roy Barker.
The Ravens have been scrapping like this all year long. Close games, staying in them all. Think staying this one through the half, they'll be rejuvenated coming out the second time.
And they're now in the hurry-up. Zaire able to go to the sideline for Alexander. Couldn't find anyone, and then was able to rescue as Alexander came back for it, covered by Israel. And there's a first down for Baltimore. The 49ers last played a team from Baltimore November of 1972 here in San Francisco. 49ers beating the Baltimore Colts 24-21, November the 12th, 1972. It's an important game for San Francisco, with Carolina winning earlier, beating St. Louis. Minor again, that's his second carry. Carolina 20, St. Louis 10, so the Panthers 7-4. They're only a half game off the lead in the AFC West, with the 49ers at 7 up and 3 down. Timeout taken with 1:09 remaining, first half. Welcome back to San Francisco. Marv Albert with Sam Weish. 49ers with a 17-10 lead on the Ravens. San Francisco 2 timeouts remaining. Baltimore with 1. It has begun to rain once again. Forecast calling for heavy rain. It stayed away from most of this first half. Second down and 7 for Baltimore at the San Francisco 28. And Zaire completing. Floyd Turner short of the first down. Strong safety Tim McDonald making the stop.
This is the kind of player that Eric Zaire is. He's just a gutsy football player, not real tall, doesn't have all the stereotype, he just performs.
Well, they do pick up the first down. First down at the 20-yard line, and here's Zaire with another bullet connecting with Alexander, who was met by the strong safety McDonald. And the hurry-up continues. 35 seconds remaining in the half. Another first down. This time Zaire able to stop the clock.
On first down, he wanted to do that so he could save the timeout in case they needed to get a field goal team on later on. This gives them an option now to run or pass on second down.
30 seconds to go in the half, and a second down play coming up. And the word on Vinny Testaverde: x-rays on the sore ribs, negative, and he will give it a shot in the second half. He's icing it down back in the locker room. Long deep back is Biner. And Zaire throwing, end zone, overthrowing, just did miss Derek Alexander.
The clock stops again. They've got one shot. They can run the ball or pass right now. If they want to stay safe to make sure they don't give up the field goal, the draw play or the quick trap. Ted Marchibroda on the sideline. The arms folded is about all you can do, and then of course you can make the call, throw the flag. I don't think I've seen Ted as animated in past years as I have this year. He seems to be really into the game.
Zaire 6 of 10 for 60 yards. Third down play. Zaire saw the opening and then was taken down inside the 10, tripped up by Bryant Young.
And that's what they chose to do. Rather than a true draw, they went with a quarterback draw, expecting and hoping man coverage, maybe even a blitz. if you go with a quarterback draw. You want everybody running away with the receivers, and then you run the quarterback up the middle.
And it's a 4th and 7. Actually just outside the 7, not a 4th and goal. And now the clock is stopped with 5 seconds remaining. The Ravens sending on the field goal unit. Pat Stover, who hit one earlier from 43, is 10 of 14 for the season. So he's looking to bring the Ravens within 4.
The footing is getting worse and worse, Marv, as you watch. Eric Zeier on that last play slid as he tried to change directions, and that's where it'll happen when you're trying to make those quick turns and quick change of directions. The plant here should be okay. I don't think it's going to affect this kick. They've really done a good job of getting this field in good shape. There's no standing water. It's not that kind of rain. But the field becomes slick just because there's water really under the surface to begin with, so anything on top stays there.
A 25-yard attempt, and again, the angle to the left. Montgomery will hold. And Stover able to drill it through. As time has run out in this first half, so the Ravens able to hang in despite the injury suffered by Vinny Testaverde. And the 49ers have a 17-13 lead at halftime. Ted Marchibroda enjoying the moment as he watched Stover put it through. Now stay tuned for Greg Gumbel and the Domino's Pizza halftime report. All right, thank you, Greg. 49ers with a 17-13 lead on the Ravens. The best thing that the Ravens did in the first half was keeping San Francisco off the field. Let's check out the Coors Light halftime statistics. Well, we'll get to that in just a moment as they are ready to kick off. And well, there it is.
17 minutes, and by keeping the ball themselves, they kept it away from a very high-powered offense in San Francisco. 49ers need to balance it out a little bit, though. They're throwing the ball 179 yards, only 33 rushing yards first half.
And a short kick played by LaVille. So the 49ers with Elvis Grbac at quarterback, and he had a very fine first half. 13 of 16, 179 yards, through the 1 touchdown, and was also picked off once by Antonio Langham. 49ers start out at the 27-yard line. And they're back with the short-range flip to Kirby. Gets across the 35, met by Eric Turner.
Marv, we're seeing the old 49er offense. That play was in 1979 when I was coaching with Bill Walsh. I'm not going to use the name because they may use it at the line of scrimmage like that, but they're going back to the offense that has been good for them over the years. Part of the influence of having Bill on as an advisor this year.
And a 2nd down and 1 at the 37-yard line. Kirby change of direction and then fumble. Kirby coughing it up, and Anthony Pleasant with the recovery and runs inside the 5-yard line.
And I think Anthony Pleasant just gave out a juice right there. Could have scored. Everyone froze. Nobody understood that the fumble had taken place. There was no whistle. We could hear it up here because the crowd is very quiet. And Anthony Pleasant just picks it up and goes.
All right, let's take another look at it, and let's listen to it. I don't think you'll hear a whistle, and obviously you have to keep going. Kirby, change of direction, and then fumble. Kirby coughing it up.
No whistle on that play. You would have picked it up easily. We could hear the thumping of the leather when the ball was knocked loose.
Anthony Pleasant with the return. And a 1st and goal at the 3. Eric Zeier still in at quarterback. And Bam Morris with the short pickup met by Lee Woodall. So a 36-yard return on the fumble by Pleasant.
Ball is just not, he's almost on the ground, and everyone assumed, especially everyone on the 49ers side of the ball, assumed that he was down, but the ball was juggled loose before he actually hit the ground. Whistle clearly did not blow.
Third turnover for the 49ers. An interception, a muff on a kick return, and now the fumble by Kirby. And Zaire throwing for the touchdown. James Jones, the nose tackle who does play offense. In fact, the last time that he scored was back in 1993 against the 49ers.
And he does it again. He's open for a long time. He's coming out of the backfield, right out of the backfield. He looks like a lead blocker. Now look how wide open he is. There's nobody around him. Eric Zaire actually looked down the field first before coming to the wide open James Jones.
Now the point after by Stover, so the Ravens have taken the lead. The touchdown by Jones, and Baltimore up by 3. Well, the Ravens have recaptured the lead. They lead the 49ers now 20-17. And the kickoff by Stover. Taken by LaVille, following Carter. And great balance to stay on his feet as he runs across the 30-yard line. A 27-yard return by Derek LaVille.
A touchdown a moment ago. Watch the defensive left side of the 49ers. They never find the football. The quarterback is going to turn to the right. See them all looking inside right here. Slipping out in the flat, James Jones, nobody around him, wearing number 97. They may have just said to themselves, this is a lead blocker, and that is all. Not so.
James Jones, who goes 6'2", 290 pounds, the starting nose tackle. Played some fullback in high school as a senior, also in college. Kirby on the swing pass. It was Kirby who fumbled on that last series that set up the drive for the Ravens. And here are the 49ers, who coming into today were second in the NFL to Washington in terms of fewest turnovers, and they've hurt themselves. In fact, they've coughed it up a couple of times. Sam, the first 10 games had only 2 lost fumbles. Today they've lost 2.
And the Ravens were near the bottom. They'd only forced 13 fumbles coming in, or 13 turnovers coming into this game. I'll get it.
It's a second down and 7. And a flag is thrown. Eric Turner on the coverage of Brent Jones, and it will be interference.
Pass interference, number 29 of the defense. First down.
Eric Turner just mistimes the close on the pattern. The pattern's going to turn inside. You can see it right here. Eric Turner is just trying to time it up. He's boxed out. The receiver is clearly in position. He has to go through him. He can't go through him until the ball arrives. Got there too early.
49ers 1st and 10 at the 47-yard line. Gerback could not find anyone. Good coverage by the Ravens, and he has to just walk it out of bounds.
At least he ran this one out of bounds at the line of scrimmage. Last week against Dallas, he took a 11, 12, 13-yard loss when he could have thrown the ball away. Remember, when you get out of the pocket like that, you can throw the ball away, and it's an incomplete pass, no grounding. Watch the coverage down the field. You see the 2 deep safeties in the middle. They're running man for man across the field with the corners. Nobody open. Gets back to the line of scrimmage and steps up. And this is a defense that is patched up, wired together, Band-Aids everywhere, playing hard.
First sack of Gerback, a coverage sack, second down and 12. And Gerback's pass is caught. Nice sideline move by Terrell Owens in front of the rookie, Deron Jenkins. And that's the 4th catch of the day by Owens, a rookie from Tennessee, Chattanooga. Had only 1 catch last week against Dallas after a pretty good run, but he's turned it here today.
Deron Jenkins should have been in this play a little bit more. The ball's in the air long enough Terrell Owens comes back to it a little bit, but really, Deron Jenkins has position. Ball's just up and away enough for the completion.
And a first down at the 41-yard line. And you can see Jenkins slow to get up.
You know, sometimes after a pass is completed against you, you just grab that old hamstring. This one I don't think is one of those deals, but when they go by you on the touchdown, that time he was closing hard, and on this soft surface, you're stressing those muscles a lot more because you're never sure when that foot is going to give way. And if it does give way after you've flexed it, that's when you get the pull muscle. Most of the time, it's the hamstring or the groin muscles that are in danger on a field like this. Here he comes down. He kind of lands a little bit awkward. One foot, of course, way up in the air, coming down hard on one, and then it looked like it was his left leg, though, that was pulled at the end.
And now a 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. They're back facing pressure and taken down. Also a flag is thrown. Mike Frederick getting to the quarterback. Rick Lyle also involved.
Baltimore has been most effective with that hard up the field pass rush.
Holding, number 79 of the offense. That penalty is declined. 2nd down.
And that's the right tackle, Harris Barton, who's made his return today after sitting out 2 games with a pulled groin.
Harris Barton was trying to block Mike Frederick. And you can see him reach out there and grab. Clean holding. Really, once you get a tackle's shoulders turn like that, he's vulnerable to the hold because there is a path to the quarterback. He's got to make a decision. Hold him or let him go.
Dorian Brew, a rookie from Kansas, has come on, replacing Deron Jenkins. They're back, able to complete, finding Kirby, met by Moore and Jones. 10 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in this 3rd quarter, and the Ravens have taken a 20-17 lead on the 49ers. A later report now on Vinny Testaverde. It is now being called a deep rib bruise, and it is still a question as to whether he will be able to return. Eric Zier has come on, though, and he's done a nice job.
Sometimes that can be more painful than a break. You stretch those ligaments in there. Every time you breathe, you feel it.
3rd and 10 at the 41-yard line. And Gervais able to complete, but short of the 1st down. As he completes with Uwezike, Ihani Uwezike, the rookie from the University of California, with his first catch of the day.
I know you've been excited, waiting for a chance to say
Absolutely.
his name. And George Seifert's going to go for it at the 35-yard line. There's not a lot to be gained by the punt, and it feels obviously that that field goal on this field might be a little long.
Well, it's a 4th down and 4. Short set by Gervais, and he does complete it. Jerry Rice with the catch. Let's see where they spot it. It is a 1st down.
Jerry Rice was able to get that inside technique, just inside the defender, and on short plays like that, you don't want to give away the inside. Look at him. See, he's there. Now, even if your coverage is tight, the completion's going to happen. You know, no run after the catch, but you don't need it. George Seifert knowing that this is a big play. The Ravens are hanging in here. They've got the lead right now, but they keep playing.
Sam, as you know, George, a guy lets the assistants coach. He likes to step back and observe. Here's Kirby looking to make the turn, but could not. He was pinned by Ed Sutter. George Seifert, who took over from Bill Walsh back in 1989. Since that time, the 49ers have made 5 trips to the NFC Championship game. They have won 2 Super Bowls. And 2 weeks ago, with the win over New Orleans, George tying Bill Walsh's record for most wins in franchise history. There's Bill with 102 and 33 to be precise, a remarkable record. The next win will put him past Walsh. Screen developing for Rice, and he is well covered. Good play by the free safety, Eric Turner.
Eric Turner is one of the leaders on this football team, and he's had an interception each of the last 3 ball games. Been a factor in every ball game. They haven't won them. They've been in the ball games, though, because of the way they're playing right now. The key to this ball game is going to happen in about 8 minutes when they reach that fourth quarter, because that's when they've had trouble in the last few weeks.
They've had problems. We talked about it last night with Eric Turner, who said we've been playing to hold on, not to win. That's been the problem the last couple of weeks. We're back, completing for the first down, and the ball is knocked free. Brent Jones made the catch. It is called a completion, and for Jones, it's his 4th reception.
Little indecision by the officials as to whether that was complete or not. They all kind of looked at each other, but let's take a look. Right in the middle, nobody around him. LaShawn Adams hits him quickly. Possession, good call. Momentum stop. Once that tackler is pushing you back, it's over.
11th play of the drive. Awezike split to the left side, but it's back to the ground. LaVille took that pop.
I'll tell you what, Baltimore's not playing like a team that's all beat up. That time, Ed Sutter, among others, Mike Caldwell and others, they are firing out to the ball. They're selling out. That leaves them a little vulnerable to the misdirection plays. From upstairs, watch it, the little keeper, the ball starts to one side or the other. The quarterback keeps it, goes the other way, maybe a reverse.
And the word on Deron Jenkins, strained right hamstring, but has just made his return. 2nd down and 8. You see Rice in motion. They're back over the middle. Jones able to get down to the 6-yard line, met by Gugenius.
Just pitch and catch. Brent Jones goes into the middle. The quarterback, Gerback, is looking at him almost the entire time, and he's just working his way open. As soon as he finally frees himself in the coverage, he lets the ball go. You see him right here in the corner of your screen. He moves away from the coverage, looks wide open. He wasn't wide open for very long.
It has been an injury-hit season for Brent Jones. Come up big today. 5 catches, 68 yards, and the 49ers take a timeout. This a 7-minute drive being engineered by San Francisco. Six minutes and 11 seconds remaining in the third quarter. It's been all San Francisco in terms of holding on to the ball, but the Ravens, off the fumble by Kirby, able to take advantage. Good run by Pleasant on the recovery, and then James Jones ran it in from a couple of yards out to give the Ravens the lead. But this is a 7-minute plus drive being run by Elvis Gerback, who is 22 of 25 for 241 yards. Now gunning for the first down on the sneak. At a half-yard short.
They're spotting it just inside the 5-yard line, which should be enough. They got it the first down for it. Now Elvis Gerback is 5-3 lifetime coming into this ball game. A lot of, as a starter, coming into the ball game, and there's a lot of pressure on him to show that he is the future quarterback for these 49ers. Steve Young on the sideline with the injury right now is watching the guy that will one day take his place. And believe me, this guy doesn't want to give it up yet. He wants to play.
First and goal at the 5-yard line. Kirby had a running start and picked up a couple met by Anthony Pleasant. Steve Young saying that he does agree with the decision which kept him out today, and also said any talk of retirement he feels is premature. But he agrees that the time is right, as his agent Lee Steinberg said the other day, for talk about where he is in his career and what more he wants to accomplish in light of the concussions that he has suffered in recent seasons and the long-time consequences. As it turns out this week, he also took time to announce his engagement. Here's Kirby short of the goal line.
Are you
I don't think one had anything to do with the other, Sam.
Oh, I think you are suggesting that,
no,
yes.
No.
And his fiancée is not going to be happy when she hears that.
He was lucid at the time. That's what he said.
You know, the one thing, though, that Lee Steinberg did say, that he is not in denial in the seriousness of this, and that is important. Sometimes, when I talked to him yesterday, he didn't want to talk about his head. He wanted to talk about his growing poles a little bit sore. The head's more important.
16th play of the drive, and touchdown, William Floyd. What a charge by the offensive line, and Floyd just fires it into the crowd.
William Floyd, coming off of a knee, has had a year-long rehab, working hard to get back so that he can play. Third game back. chance to get in that end zone. Look at the hole. Woo. Actually, the field is slow. You can see everybody is moving very cautiously. It's not only slow because it's soft, but everybody's being careful they don't fall down, which makes them a little bit slower as well.
And for Floyd, it is his first touchdown of the season. So Wilkins able to add the extra point. 16 plays, 67 yards. They had the football 8 minutes and 41 seconds, and it's San Francisco by 4. The two quarterbacks getting together. The major topic of conversation this week in San Francisco, Sam, that is aside from the Giants trade of Matt Williams,
which was our conversation.
Absolutely. Gerback and Young with Elvis taking over. This is Etheridge on the return. And of course, those subtle statements by San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown. We haven't mentioned his name in minutes.
Want to do it again?
4:11 remaining, third quarter. Continues to fall here in San Francisco. 1st and 10 at the 27 as the Ravens take over. 49ers up 24-20. And Bam Morris able to work his way. Comes in averaging just under 5 yards per carry. Ravens signing Morris back on September the 24th and waited out the suspension. You remember had that excellent rookie season back in '94 for Pittsburgh, running for 836 yards, and then dropped off last year. This after Barry Foster was traded off to create more time for Bam, but he reported out of shape, and the Steelers were very upset with him. Zaire couldn't find anyone and takes it out of bounds.
You know, Bam Morris' mom actually came in and made an appeal to Art Modell that her son deserved another chance, that he was, like all moms are, you know, that he is a good son, a good boy. He spent his entire offseason with her, staying at home, didn't want to leave the house because he wanted to get himself squared away before the football season began.
He said at one point, we asked him about this, he thought that he was through. He'd never be allowed to play again. And certainly there was some sentiment in that direction, and said he would have gone back to school to finish up and secure his degree, but he is just delighted and feeling very fortunate that he's back in the NFL. Good pressure by the 49ers, and Zaire again could not find anyone. Roy Barker will get credit for the sack, and the punting unit will check in. 4th sack of the day by the 49ers.
Roy Barker came into this game with 8 sacks, and really what happened right here, he takes a 5 quick step drop. That doesn't get you but about 6 yards deep behind the center, and the line was just not able to hold him out.
And here's Greg Montgomery from his 12. Dexter Carter, who has had his problems today, is bumped out of bounds at the 36. 48-yard punt, 12-yard return. Timeout called with 2:25 to go in the third. Went out with what is called a separated shoulder. He said he'd return, and here he is. He's back on the field. 1st and 10 at the 37. 49ers get it right back on a swing. Kirby, and he is ankle tackled by Eric Turner. Now, the 49ers had that long 16-play drive. Ravens got the ball back. They had it for 1 minute and 41. That was it. San Francisco back in possession, and they have a 2nd down and 9 from their 38.
And this has been Baltimore's MO for the last few weeks. Because of the injuries, the players wear out. They just wear down as it gets close to the 4th quarter. They're not quite the same zip they had in the first 3.
On the play action, we're back throwing it high and far. Jerry Rice was triple covered. He was in the area.
Quarterbacks have a
42 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Looking at a 3rd down and 9. And is able to complete to Jones, but short of the 1st down. He stopped at the 45 by Stephon Moore, and the 49ers will be forced to punt.
Big play for Baltimore, stopping them right there. Don't let them get another long drive like they had the last time. Get your offense back on the field. The offense was out there for just a little over a minute on the last drive. Now they've got to get back, control the ball like they did in the first half.
Ray Etheridge is back. He's actually playing for Randy Baldwin, who's out with that thigh injury, and then Jermaine Lewis went down with a concussion earlier. So Etheridge and Alexander have been returning kicks, and now Etheridge back for the punt. And Etheridge with a short return, stopped at the 18, a 41-yard punt, and just a couple of yards on that return. Tonight it's down to 52 seconds remaining, third quarter, 1st and 10 at the 19-yard line. Ravens back to the offense, and Zaire gives it off to Morris, and he is stopped at the line. Roy Barker's had a big ball game, has 2 sacks. He now has 10 for the season, which is a career best. In his 5th year out of North Carolina. 2 weeks ago had that enormous performance against New Orleans. 3 sacks, a forced fumble, the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. 2nd down and 9. Morris to the outside with some running room and has a 1st down, run out by Kevin Mitchell. And then Morris and Mitchell have words.
No sense in getting into that right now. Both these teams are playing and taking the high road as they play. They're both playing good, smart football, and you can tell that both coaches are trying to keep them focused just on that.
11-yard pickup by Morris. 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line, and the flags come flying.
Looked like Tony Jones may have moved
False
early.
start, number 66, 5 yards. It's still 1st down.
That is the man they call T-Bone, the left tackle. Tony Jones called on that penalty. Well, the Ravens able to hang it, although they did not have the football for much of the 3rd quarter. 49ers in possession 12 minutes, 20 seconds of the 3rd. Zaire able to hit Jackson. Short of the 1st down, bumped out by Drakeford. Michael Jackson, who opened the game with a 65-yard pass play for a touchdown, taking from the starter Testaverde. 3rd catch, 87 yards for number 81, Michael Jackson.
Marquez Pope told us last night or Friday that they were going to challenge these wide receivers. They really haven't. That time Drakeford just backed straight off. Michael Jackson having a big year, along with, of course, Derek Alexander, Vinny Testaverde's favorite receivers.
Career seasons for both. That catch, number 50 on the season for Jackson. Well, they were waiting for Bam Morris. No deception. And he ran into the combination of Barker and Dolman.
Well, I don't know who was wrong, the quarterback or Bam Morris. One of them went the wrong way, though. As you watch Eric Zaire, he's looking to hand the ball off to his right, and Bam Morris comes back inside. I think Bam Morris may have been wrong from the looks of all the players that were standing in that hole.
And Morris now replaced by Biner. Ernest Biner has come on. He has been used sparingly. A minute gone by in the 4th quarter. 3rd and 5. And it is a 1st down as Zaire connects with Turner. Quick pitch over the middle. Tim McDonald, the strong safety, making the stop on Floyd Turner.
They had a blitz coming. Safety Hanks came. Quick throw right into the middle before the coverage could get there. Trying to disguise the blitz, the defensive backs were laying off a little bit. And then Merton Hanks blitzed from the offensive right side. The ball was thrown to the offensive left side for the 1st down.
And a 1st down at the Baltimore 44-yard line. Marv Albert with Sam Weish from San Francisco. Zaire, it is picked off. Intercepted by Merton Hanks. And there it is, his 4th interception of the season, and certainly the Ravens appreciate the normal Merton Hanks reaction. So the 49ers back to the offense.
Cars more Americans trust. by UPS, the official package delivery company of the NFL.
A moment ago, Merton Hanks coming up with his 4th interception of the season, 2nd turnover for the Ravens. So the 49ers get it back, and Gerbach picked off. Looked like his arm was hit as he followed through, and Eric Turner has an interception. That's the 2nd toss by Gerbach, 4th of the year by Turner. And the Ravens get it back.
Mike Kroll coming in. He's going to get just enough of it right there. You can see he just catches his forearm. The ball pops straight up in the air. That was more like a fair catch on a punt. Intercepted. One of those plays you just can't go back and say, here's how we correct that. The guy got the ball hit as his arm hit as he let it go. Eric Turner. That's 4 games in a row he's had an interception.
So Baltimore starting out from their 13-yard line. And it's Bam Morris who is handled. Met by Kevin Mitchell, has done a good job in filling in. Hurt his knee, and he's on the sideline. They're checking it over. 12-17 remaining in the 4th quarter. 49ers up 24-20. And Zaire stripped, recovered for a touchdown. Chris Dolman on the ball in the end zone, and another turnover, but this time it is Baltimore coughing it up.
And Zaire's trying to claim that he was going forward. The ball was back, but he wasn't going forward. He's going to drop straight back into the pocket. Dolman up here at the top of your screen is going to come around the tackle, and Tony Jones you see it when his shoulders turn, he's in trouble. Not a forward pass, that's a fumble. In his mind, he probably felt like he was throwing the ball. You see Zaire trying to tell the official his arm was going forward, and that's what he felt was happening, but that fumble clearly took place before the motion moved forward.
Ironically, the previous series a moment ago, Gerbach had his arm hit,
right,
and ends up throwing a pop fly that is picked off, and now Zaire hit, and that concludes as a fumble covered up by Dolman in the end zone, and the 49ers extend the lead to 30-20, and also that is the 5th sack of the day for San Francisco.
And there's some confusion on the field.
On the offense, 5 yards, still trying the extra point.
There was a lot of substituting going back and forth, and I assume that Ted Marchibroda was feeling that they might go for a 2-point conversion right here and trying to match up the personnel, and in the process the 25-second clock ran out. Here's the play. He's back. His arm is going back, but his arm is not going forward. Tony Jones just got beat. Chris Dolman coming around the corner.
And for Dolman, a touchdown and a sack. Now this is a deeper kick for the extra point by Wilkins. And he puts it through. 12:08 remaining, 4th quarter. 49ers now lead by 11. You are watching the NFL on NBC. Banner day for that man, Chris Dolman. He has now been credited with 3 sacks, the official score, changing the breakdown. 3 for Dolman, 1 for Barker, 1 for Mitchell for the 5 sacks by the Niners. Etheridge on the return, and again, excellent coverage by San Francisco. A 16-yard return. Junior Bryant was right on the case to get to Ray Etheridge. Chris Dolman, 3 sacks. He now has 8 for the season. And Baltimore with their 3rd turnover. San Francisco with 4. And coming in, certainly what you would expect the way things have been going for the Ravens. They are among the worst in turnover ratio. New Orleans right at the bottom, and Baltimore in that group. 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. 49ers now lead 31-20. 3 minutes gone by, 4th quarter. Short set by Zaire, intended for Turner.
And now we're seeing the challenge that the defensive back
has been sacked 3 times, 3 of the 5. He came on for Testaverde, who suffered sore ribs. Biner getting up to the 24-yard line. Well, NBC tonight, they're going to take them down. All tonight here on NBC. Intended for Alexander. We're, of course, talking about the NBC World Premiere movie, Jack Reed, Death and Vengeance. That's tonight.
If Jack Reed's content is as good as its lead-in music, we're in for a show.
Now, when I think of the name Jack Reed, and this will date people like myself and you, I think of the one-time backup outfielder for Mickey Mantle in the early 60s.
I think of my neighbor in Atlanta,
Right.
Georgia.
Well, I can see that.
Well, all have our way.
How is Jack these days? Montgomery with the punt. And Carter lets it bounce. Contact made inside the 35, and it is a 35-yard punt by Greg Montgomery. Well, we were chatting earlier about the fact that Sam, you at one time worked for Bill Walsh, former head coach of the 49ers, now administrative assistant to the coaching staff, back in '81. And we're looking at a team photo of the 49ers, a very youthful-looking Sam Wyche, who was then quarterback's coach. George Seifert was the secondary's coach, and we will further examine this group photo. There are actually, and this is uncanny to me, 4 members of that '81 49er team that went on to work for NBC Sports. William Floyd, finding some room, gets across the 45, taken down by Mike Kroll. I don't know, Sam, was there something in the water at the time?
Oh, no,
See if we could check this out.
I know you. Let's see what's happened with the penalty here. No penalty. I know one thing, that the long sideburns were in, were they not?
All right. Bill Walsh at one time worked for NBC.
Is there one still doing it? Yes.
Randy Cross, yes, who is currently working with Charlie Jones, and Joe Montana, who worked for NBC in the past.
NBC can pick them.
Here's Floyd. Are you speaking to yourself?
Trying to promote myself here in between plays.
Stevan Moore and Keith Gogenius combining make that stop. Bill Walsh visibly upset by seeing that old photo.
Yes, and probably hearing me say what I just said. George Seifert was the defensive backfield coach, and I was the quarterback coach. We went against each other in practice, and then spent a lot of time, though, in the off season and off time together when we lived out here in San Francisco.
And I frankly have heard enough of your life and times in the Bay Area.
I'd like to tell you more.
Well, Derek Lavelle diving and covered up by.
Because they've got an offense that can move the ball if they stay with their plan.
And here's William Floyd. Oh, he's stacked up. They kept him away from the first down marker. Ed Sutter, Stevan Moore coming up to greet Floyd.
You know, part of the plan right now, of course, is to use a little bit of the clock and use the running game.
Yet the 49ers have managed to go 7 up and 3 down, but they have not been satisfied with the offense. Gunning for the first down. Terry Kirby. Looked like he picked it up.
You know, this is a time where the quarterback wants to use a lot of the clock. Rushing the ball is the way to do it. Terry Kirby, the leading rusher, but only 299 yards coming into this particular ball game, and 2 touchdowns. No more than 2 by any one rusher.
Well, apparently Kirby short of the first down. 49ers did not get the spot. It is 4th at about a half yard, and the punting unit will come on.
Taking no chances at this point.
Tommy Thompson with Ray Etheridge back. 7:41 remaining in the 4th quarter. Well, Frankie Smith trying to down it, but it carries in, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. A 38-yard punt, and when we resume, 28 remaining in the 4th quarter, and the Ravens start out from their 20-yard line. They're trailing the 49ers 31-20. And Zaire coming up short, intended for Biner. Right here, let's check in with Greg Gumbel back at our. Thank you, Greg. 2nd down and 10, and Zaire with the pass that is incomplete, intended for Turner, covered by Dodge. Vinny Testaverde, who was forced to the sideline because of sore ribs, is back out there. He had remained in the locker room. The x-rays did show negative, but Zaire has stayed in there. Testaverde, start of the game, was able to connect with Michael Jackson for a 65-yard touchdown play right at the start of the ball game. Alexander on the reception and has a first down. He was covered by. He opened the game with a flea flicker. Here's Zaire on first down, and it's broken up. Intended for Turner, who has been a favorite target. Good play by Hanks to get a piece of it. You opened with a flea flicker. You called it return to sender. Very clever. It did work for a touchdown.
And it did. Anthony McDowell caught that, our fullback. It was just a handoff. The running back started to sweep, reversed his field, and returned back. Pitched the ball back to Vinny. Wide open. Took that 7-0 lead, and I think we lost it 45-7.
Exactly. 2nd and 10 at the 35-yard line. Here is Biner on a slant. Gets across the 40. Norton makes the stop.
Before I make all the Buck fans angry, it wasn't 45-7. We did end up losing that ball game in the last minute of the game right here in Candlestick.
It is a 3rd down and 3 at the 42-yard line. Zaire dancing around, couldn't find anyone, and now fires downfield, intended for Michael Jackson, covered by Tyrone Drakeford.
Michael Jackson wants a penalty there, but there's no penalty. Once the ball touches his hands, he didn't get it. He was trying to make a second grab, and he was then grabbed, but you can grab him once that ball reaches you. Here he is coming across the field. Now, Eric Zaire is in a scramble. He turns, holds that hand up to let him know that he's behind everybody. The ball just floats up there a little bit. See, once his hand is there, now the grab, he wants a face mask, but he really just grabbed the top of the helmet. It wasn't a face mask.
So with a 4th and 3, Greg Montgomery has come on for the 7th time. Just did get it away. And Carter lets it bounce. Carried out of bounds from their 24. Remaining Floyd. William Floyd has been running well in the 2nd half. Was taken down by Caldwell and Kroll.
This is a drill that all teams practice, usually called a 4-minute drill, or in this case 5.5-minute drill. Use as much of the clock for each play, the 40-second clock I'm talking about. Try to keep the ball on the ground and don't go out of bounds. The other thing that's stressed, the running back coach and receiver coach, remember that defense right now is trying to strip the ball. The only way they can get back in this thing now is a quick turnover.
2nd down and 7 from the 27. Play fake. Gerback. Couldn't find anyone. And takes it out.
Quarterback may be the only guy that's allowed to go on out of bounds, especially with this quarterback situation here in San Francisco. You don't want to stop the clock, which that obviously does inside 5 minutes, but the clock is stopped only until the ball is spotted, and then it starts again outside 5 minutes. That was just a few seconds outside the 5-minute clock.
We were talking with Elvis Gerback on Friday, asking him about the name Elvis, and he said it's a very popular name in Croatia. His parents are from Croatia. They moved to the Cleveland area when he was a youngster. And Gerback able to complete. Corey Rice picks up the first down. Mike Caldwell on the stop. And also told us that the actual pronunciation of the last name is Gerback, as we have been trying to say throughout the afternoon. We have heard all kinds of variations. His dad, a carpenter, made the move to Cleveland. He attended Michigan, led the Wolverines to victories in the 93 Rose Bowl, the 91 Gator Bowl. And has had a very active week. Floyd, also part of his attention has been on the subject of his son, who underwent critical surgery and is coming along fine. That was earlier last week.
Right. His son Zach, Jack, excuse me, spina bifida patient. He was in the hospital. He's home now. They go to the hospital and every Tuesday, which is a player's normal day off around the National Football League. They sensitive. It shouldn't have been said to begin with, regardless of the condition of any family member. But it just added to it.
Yeah, that's the part of it you have to wonder, where the apology came when it was realized that Elvis's son was recovering from an operation. Well, I mean, how do you make statements like that anyway?
You should never make a statement and then come back and say, well, if I had known that, or no one told me that his son was ill. That makes no sense again.
Second down and 7 at the 39. Gerbach for Floyd with some running room. Taken down by Eric Turner. And a first down for the 49ers.
Real good call right here, because the Baltimore defense is expecting the run. They fake the run to the left side. William Floyd releases inside and then back out to his right, back where the quarterback is bootlegging. Just drops in the ball off in the flat for a nice gain. The flow is going to happen because the defense needs to stack the runners up, try to strip the ball. They've got to gamble a little bit now on defense.
Rice to the right, Owezike in the slot to the right, but it's back to the ground in a big hole. Terry Kirby brought down by Ed Sutter and Eric Turner.
You know, this is the, we've said it several times, but we're seeing it come to life right now. The fourth quarter is the tough one for them. This team, the Baltimore Ravens, wear down because they are thin. And sometimes, even if you're not playing more snaps than you normally would, you know you're having to cover for some guys that are out, and it does wear you down.
Ravens 0-5 on the road. They come off a couple of games in which they blew leads late in the game. Kirby gets the call again, stopped by Pleasant, looking for the first down. Last week, the loss to Jacksonville in the final minute. 2 weeks ago, at one point they led 21-3 against Cincinnati, but the Bengals able to come back and pull it out. 2.5 remaining in this fourth quarter, and a timeout taken. And a touchdown for the one-time Miami Dolphins.
You know, we haven't mentioned this, but Mark Trestman is the offensive coordinator that's making the calls. He gives the word down to the sideline to Matt Cavanaugh, the quarterback coach, and it's sent in through the headsets. Bill Walsh is an advisor and works with the offense.
Well, apparently Kirby was just short of the first down. There's the 2-minute warning. We'll be right back. Francisco, 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. It is a fourth and about a half yard for the 49ers, who lead the Ravens 31-20, and Floyd, trying to stiff arm his way, does pick up the first down. Moore and Turner combine to make the stop, and a flag has been thrown.
Frustration at the end of this play.
So the call against the Ravens.
Personal foul.
Well, the personal foul call on the Ravens. There's Bill Walsh, who was about to be passed by George Seifert on the all-time winning list. This will be win number 103 for Seifert. So he'll be number 1 in 49ers history, unless there is a miraculous turn here with 1:46 remaining. But off the personal foul call, it is a 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. Floyd inside the 10. Eric Turner and Mike Kroll made the stop.
49ers on first down right there had an option. They could just sit on the ball, or they could run another play, and they're just keeping it on the ground, obviously, to keep the clock going, but still playing football.
It'll be a 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line.
Are there a lot of really white-looking pants going in that game guys that haven't played yet today, stepping in there to get their shot right at the end of this ball game.
Well, Anthony Lynn, three-year man from Texas Tech, wearing number 29, has checked in. He's in the backfield for the first time.
San Francisco, their second. It will be a 30-second timeout.
Call.
Now you're putting words in my mouth. Had I thought of that, I probably would have said it, but I hadn't thought of that.
All right, first and goal at the 4. Kirby cutting to the goal line. No official indication. Apparently he was down before getting across the plane to the goal line.
But the 49ers have to run another play because there was about 50 some odd seconds when the play ended on the previous one. See the left guard pulls to the right, straight handoff, bread and butter play for the 49ers. Makes that one twisting turn, and no, he's down before he gets there. Any part of that body touches it. Doesn't have to be a knee.
Second and goal from just outside the goal line. Once again, the 49ers owning the football in this fourth quarter. They've had it for over 6 minutes. The quarterback, Gerback, on the sneak for the touchdown with 16 seconds remaining.
Can't beat the quarterback sneak on the 1-yard line. That was a chance right there for the 49ers just to make a statement, I think, and more than anything else. Get some young players in there. When you put the young guys in there, you don't just sit on the ball. They want to play. They want to show what they can do, and they want the experience of playing. That's not running up the score. That's just continuing the game for 4 quarters.
Well, when you consider the tight race in the NFC West, with Carolina winning today, beating St. Louis earlier, as Wilkins adds the extra point, extending to that lead. San Francisco needing a win to maintain the 1-game lead, but could come down to a tiebreaker down the stretch at the end of the season.
And here's what San Francisco faces the rest of the way. Washington maybe becoming a little bit of an enigma themselves. They were so strong for so long and looked like they're struggling a little bit. Atlanta, of course, having a hard year. Carolina playing well. Pittsburgh, Detroit, you never know who's going to show up.
Earlier this season, the 49ers lost at Carolina. The 3 losses at Carolina, at Green Bay in overtime, and then last week at home to Dallas in overtime. The numbers on Elvis Grbac dropped to 3 and 8. Put on the ground, and it is picked up by Alexander. Try to reverse his field, and he does, but taken out of bounds with 9 seconds to go. Well, you saw the 49er remaining schedule. Upcoming for the Ravens. Next week home for Jacksonville, then a home game against Pittsburgh, at Cincinnati, at Carolina, and then they're home for Houston.
Their biggest opponent right now is the injuries, and they've just got to try to get enough people and keep enough people healthy to play these games. You know, a week ago and 2 weeks ago, they had as few as 1 defensive lineman in the game at one time, played with 2 defensive linemen for much of the game.
And the other concern is the injury status of Vinny Testaverde, who was warming up on the sideline. Here's Biner, but he went out in the first half with the sore ribs, and Desire took over, and that will do it. San Francisco 49ers defeating the Baltimore Ravens 38-20. So the 49ers at 8 up and 3 down. They maintain the 1-game lead over Carolina. Marv Albert with Sam Weiss saying so long from San Francisco. Now to the Miami-Houston game with Tom Hammond and